Good evening and thank you for being with us. Concern continues to grow following yesterday's surprise announcement by Greyhound Bus Lines that it will be withdrawing services here in northwestern Ontario and all of Western Canada this fall. It's a move that will impact roughly 2 million Canadians, and it's left municipal leaders scrambling to try and find transportation alternatives. Tony Brar has the latest.
In December, the former Liberal government announced a $40 million funding program aimed at boosting bus services across Northern Ontario. Fast forward 7 months, and Greyhound has now announced they will be cancelling all routes in Northwestern Ontario on October 31st.
Super shocked by this. Is super unfortunate for our part of the province. Obviously, our inability to travel between our communities has already hindered transportation between our communities, and a loss of the Greyhound to even connect a little bit between our communities and where the communities where they did run is super unfortunate.
The once prominent operator of the nationwide bus service says it's seen a 41% decrease in ridership since 2010. That's primarily due to an increase in car ownership for many across the country and the growth of new low-cost airlines. But Landry says the service cut decision comes at a price as well.
NOMA, with the help of Common Voice Northwest, as you know, has been advocating for subsidies on intercommunity bus systems for the longest time now. And definitely with this news, we'll definitely be stepping that up to prove our point of the inability to travel in between our communities for those that don't own their own personal vehicles is a huge hindrance to get to medical appointments, all kinds of different needs.
Meanwhile, the Ford government have said very little about the situation. They did issue a brief statement that says they will work with northern communities and other carriers to ensure the region has the transportation it needs and deserves. Meanwhile, a local company is looking to provide new routes in the fall, hoping to make up for the lost services across the region. Owner of Casper Transportation, Casper Wabinski, says Greyhound likely couldn't balance the demand for local and long-distance needs for those in the region, which now allows a unique opportunity for him and his company.
Well, it's definitely disappointing to see Greyhound go, but we in the industry kind of saw it coming to a certain point, maybe not as aggressively as it has happened. But going forward, we're planning on launching a route to White River. We're going to do a Winnipeg Thunder Bay Direct, and we're going to be launching a few routes in Manitoba.
Wabinski says he hopes he can have these service routes up and running in the first week of November. Tony Brar, TBT News.
The forest fire situation in the Northwest is beginning to worsen, especially in the area near the remote community of Summer Beaver. An outbreak known as Nipigon Fire 30, about 19 kilometers northwest of that community, has quickly grown to over 3,500 hectares and remains out of control. While the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry continues suppression efforts there, it's also lending a hand with a major outbreak in northeastern Ontario near Temagami. 34-person fire crews have been sent from our region, along with 28 overhead staff and a logistics team. This comes as 2 provincial parks near Temagami have been evacuated because of the raging fires. About 450 campers were safely removed from Finlayson Point and Martin River provincial parks Monday. 20 homes and cottages that are being threatened by the fires have already been evacuated. Dozens of other nearby residents have been given notice that they may have to leave at a moment's notice. Well, Ontario's chief coroner says they're investigating 3 deaths in the province that could have been related to the immense heat. While temperatures have since cooled off, there is still concern for people with chronic illness and those who do not have proper air conditioning. While Ontario officials work to confirm whether heat is responsible for those 3 deaths, Quebec is dealing with up to 70 possible heat-related deaths, and temperatures are also expected to spike up once again next week. There were no serious injuries to report following a 2-vehicle collision last evening that brought down a light standard and blocked traffic on the city's north side. It happened shortly after 8 o'clock at the intersection of Algoma and John Streets and left one of the vehicles involved with significant damage. The downed light pole ended up across the northbound lane on Algoma, causing traffic disruptions for a short period. Police say alcohol was a factor in the crash and that a 47-year-old man is facing charges. Thunder Bay police are looking for the public's help in locating a missing woman. Although no photo has been provided, police say they're trying to locate 20-year-old Bethany Gagnon. Gagnon is described as being an Indigenous female 5'6" and 117 pounds with a thin build, long straight brown hair and brown eyes. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of Bethany Gagnon is asked to contact Thunder Bay Police. A new initiative from Delico today as it hosted its first ever career fair. The family care organization invited job seekers to join management and learn about employment opportunities available at the agency. The career fair provided information about Delico, student placements, even their foster caregiver opportunities. Attendees met with Delico managers one-on-one to ask any questions they may have had about working at the agency. Parents also brought along their kids to see what part-time jobs were available. Human Resources Manager Tammy Williams-Deller says Delico provides health, mental health, and child welfare services throughout the District of Thunder Bay, and she says they're recruiting for all three because their services continue to grow.
Actually, was announced we got funding for a long-term care facility that will be up and coming in the next few years, so we thought it was a great opportunity to start recruiting now for types of projects like that, so that we can build the interest for people who work for us when we have that outgoing.
Delico is looking to fill several available positions, including jobs in nursing, counseling, and social work. And children receiving services from the George Jeffrey Children's Centre and the Thunder Bay Regional Health Sciences Centre are smiling bigger than ever. Thanks to the Smile Zone Foundation and the Stahl Family Foundation, 10 rooms have received a bright and child-friendly makeover. Carmen Wong has the story.
The transformations were revealed in an unveiling held at the Children's Centre. Representatives from Smile Zone, the Regional Hospital, George Jeffrey, and the Stahl Foundation participated in a ribbon-cutting ceremony. 3 of the refurbished rooms are located at the hospital and 7 rooms at the Children's Centre. The Smile Zone team refurbished the 10 rooms with fresh paint, bright murals, entertainment units, and more. CEO of George Jeffrey's Children's Centre, Tom Walter, says Smile Zones are designed to improve the experiences of children while they receive medical treatment and therapy.
You have to have an environment where they feel comfortable, where they feel welcome in, and you do a lot of your work through play, and you can see through all of the renovations that have been done here. It's made it so much more welcoming. It's got a playful attitude.
The Stalls announced Smile Zone Foundation as a charitable partner at last year's Stahl Foundation Open. They've contributed $80,000 to make these transformations at the hospital and children's centers possible. The functional and fun spaces will allow children and youth with disabilities to reach their full potential. The areas include iPad stations, sensory tables, and beanbag chairs. The center's main waiting area features a backyard hockey rink theme and Stahl jerseys hung up on display. Eric Stahl says they hope these new Smile Zone spaces will put smiles on kids' faces no matter what circumstances they face.
The way that Smile Zone does their business, they do a phenomenal job of brightening things up and really making it inviting and in a warm area just to kind of to be in and to be a part of it with them is special to us.
Parent ambassador at George Jeffrey Children's Centre, Lucy Goldberg, has been bringing her 13-year-old son who has special needs to the center for the last 10 years. She says the new space has made a big difference to her son's overall treatment experience.
You see these beautiful murals, the technology, which is a huge asset for our children waiting at times and being in the therapeutic setting. So we spend a great deal of time here at the center, and staring at beige walls for hours on end can be bleak and gloomy at times, and the transformation has just been amazing.
Carmen Wong, TBT News.
It's become a family tradition for many here in Thunder Bay, an event geared solely towards the very youngest members of our community. And for the 4,000 people who turned out for this year's version of the Teddy Bears Picnic, it was a day for smiles, hugs, and building memories. Corey Nordstrom reports.
The 4,000 people at Vickers Park had no shortage of activities to keep them busy for the 2018 Teddy Bears Picnic. The event was packed with 30 vendors offering something fun at each booth. Kids loved getting their faces painted, making some crafts, or just playing with their friends.
I think it's great for the community. It's one of our only events that we have for children under 5. So you see tons of families out, parents and grandparents. It's really good to see.
For those bears who had been passed along for generations or maybe had more than their fair share of hugs, a booth was available to repair their damage and get them back to their former glory. The stuffed animal under every child's arm was evidence of just how much they mean to the youngsters.
Tell us a little bit about your bear, maybe what's his name, and what you like to do with him.
My bear's name is Teddy, I sleep with them sometimes, and I like to play with them a lot.
While the little ones enjoyed a picnic, they were also treated to entertainment on stage, from plays and jugglers to children's songwriting legend Rodney Brown. For many families, the annual teddy bear picnic at Vickers Park is something they return to year after year. We caught up with some parents and asked them what drew them to come here in the first place.
We had heard about it and we thought what a great opportunity to come together with other people that have young children. Fun event for them. There's always great music and, you know, things to involve the children, lots of booths, and I think that's kind of what has kept us coming every year.
And what do you like just being able to bring the kids out here?
Yeah, it's a great place. Everyone's really friendly and everyone's all cozy, getting nice and close to one another, and the food's great, the music's great, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Corey Nordstrom, TVT News.
One of the neat things amongst many